Elon Musk has said many times, the odds are we're living in a simulation. Is one of the most successful humans on the planet crazy, or is he just seeing things differently, as he often does? Here's how he frames it. If civilization keeps advancing, eventually we'll create ultra-realistic simulations indistinguishable from reality. If that happens, then statistically, there'd be far more simulated realities than base reality, which means by probability, according to Elon, we're probably in one of the simulations. That's Elon's view, but this isn't just philosophy. Physics itself gives us some strange clues. Not science fiction, but in actual experiments that have been retested numerous times over. In the famous double slit test, the setup sounds simple. Fire particles at a wall with two gaps, expect two neat lines. Instead, you get an interference pattern. Waves overlapping, cancelling, acting like the particles passed through both slits at once. But the moment you observe them, the waves vanish. The particles pick a side and line up like soldiers. So just the act of looking changes their behaviour and the outcome. For decades, physicists have debated this. Wave function collapse, hidden variables, many worlds. Strip away the jargon, however, and you're left with just something unsettling. Reality behaves differently depending on whether it's being observed or not. You might be thinking, but this is just one test, and what does it really prove? Well, the double slit experiment isn't a one-off, and newer experiments that were conducted in 2025 have pushed this even further. The best example is the work recently done at MIT, where researchers trapped a single atom and gave it two paths, left or right. Until measured, the atom existed as both, but the instant they checked, it collapsed into one choice. Think of it like this. You've been invited to 10 parties. Somehow, you're at all of them at once. Everybody swears they saw you there. But the second someone actually goes over and speaks to you, you're forced to choose one. Or picture a video game. NPCs wander around fairly two-dimensional until you interact with them, and then suddenly they've got depth. Well, here's the thing. What if the universe is working the same way, efficiently saving resources and only adding detail when it knows someone's paying attention? So if the double slit hinted at reality responding to observation, then the MIT atom experiment screamed it. The universe simply doesn't exist in one fixed way until someone forces the choice. And now for the bigger question. If observation shapes the smallest building blocks of our reality, could the same rule scale up? Because here's where it gets interesting. When you put these experiments side by side, a pattern emerges. In the double slit, particles bent to observation. In the MIT atom test, possibilities collapsed into one when measured, but both suggest reality isn't static, it's participatory. And if that still feels abstract, think about this. Even in everyday life, belief alone can sometimes trigger measurable changes in the human body. Maybe that's just another echo of the same principle. Attention reshapes outcomes. Mind over matter might not just be a motivational slogan. It could be a glimpse of how reality actually works. And if that's true, well, the implications are enormous. Because it would mean truth isn't a fixed, universal thing. In physics, a measurement selects only one version out of infinite possibilities. In life, perhaps our expectations tilt the balance towards one reality or another. This is not magic, it's just mechanics. The same mechanics we've already seen tested, measured, and repeated. And if you take that seriously, it starts to sound uncomfortably close to the idea of a simulation. A world that only loads when we pay attention. Or, if Elon's right, maybe each of us lives inside a personal reality, one that only adds detail the moment we turn and look at it. So here's a thought I'll leave you with. If observations changed matter, then maybe reality doesn't just follow facts. maybe it follows us. And those strange experiments might not just be physics quirks. They could be the universe giving us a clue about how it really works. But ultimately, it comes down to one thing: what you believe. Drop your thoughts below, I genuinely want to hear them. And subscribe please, because next time we'll explain how physics and mediums of all people sometimes describe reality in surprisingly similar ways.